Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we speak with the folks at Classic Car Club of America Museum. Did you know that there was such a thing, Jeffrey?
I did.
You did?
I'm the international correspondent. I know these things.
International correspondent. My foot. Jeff has this week's racing calendar, and Mr. Mars offers a review of the 2024 Nissan Z Nismo. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us on our live program on this Saturday morning. Our Director of Engineering, IT Master himself, David Ainsley, is sleeping in this morning.
Vacation, back from his vacation.
He's back from his 3-week lounging in the, basking in the sun of
the
Southern Canada and Northern America.
The Southern Arctic Circle.
Pretty much, yeah. He has a summer place. Actually, it's a place all year round, but you don't go there in the wintertime because you can't get there.
Can't get there from here.
Anyway, that's another story for another day. Welcome, everybody. Last week, we were hurricaning it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We didn't have electricity here at the studio for 4 days. So it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it came back on Thursday. Now, this is a week ago, so I have to back up. And I had to make the call of whether or not we're going to attempt to do the show without electricity at the moment to make the decision. So I made the decision, and then boom, about 4 hours after I made the decision, the electricity came back on.
Well,
so,
it's best that we didn't.
I know.
Yeah.
And we had a repeat of the big show, really big show that we had up in Granbury for the Lone Star Street Rod Association. I listened to part of that, and that was really a good show. We had a good time up there, and it wasn't as hot at the beginning of the show as it normally was.
Oh, yeah.
The weather. Of course, it warmed up quickly in Granbury. Granbury, by the way, is just south of Fort Worth. So
a little bit.
Yeah. But at any rate, that is a thing in the past, and now we are in the future, and here we are on a Saturday morning
ready
with
to go
our
back to Granbury.
live broadcast. Yeah, we are ready to go back to
I'm ready.
Granbury. But in the meantime, we can go other places.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Thankfully, with Zoom. And joining us right now is our first guest of the morning, John Hansen. He's the executive director of the Classic Car Club of America Museum. John, good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Well, we're doing great, man. Where are you?
Well, so this morning we're kind of starting off in the original barn of the Classic Car Club of America Museum. This is known as the Thomas W. Barrett Barn. Tom Barrett of Barrett Jackson's auction was the gentleman that paid to relocate this barn and reconstruct it here on the campus of the Gilmore Car Museum in Hickory Corners, Michigan, which is where our museum is located. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning up here. This weekend is the weekend of the Horseless Carriage Club of America's annual event on the campus of the Gilmore. So we've got a lot of brass era stuff running all over the campus. I had a ride this morning in a 1912 Simplex, which is why my hair is a little windblown. So there's a lot of activity here this weekend, but there's activity here every weekend, of course.
Well, I can only imagine that. Tell me exactly where this is in Michigan. What is it, close to a big city anywhere?
So, if you've never heard of a city called Kalamazoo, we are just about 20 minutes north of Kalamazoo. Hickory Corners is a very small town, but the Gilmore Car Museum is situated on a 90-acre campus just outside of Hickory Corners, just north of a large inland lake called Gull Lake. As I said, just north of Kalamazoo.
Interesting. Gilmore, not any relationship to the sponsorship that A.J. Foyt had, huh?
Yes.
It is.
All the same kind of family, yes.
I'll be. Well.
Yep. The museum was originally founded by a gentleman named Donald Gilmore. The museum opened in the mid-'60s. Started with one barn and a small collection of Donald Gilmore's personal cars, and has since grown to I think they're just shy of 400 cars and several partner museums. So we are one partner museum of the Gilmore Car Museum. The other partner museums being Model A Ford, Cadillac, Pierce Arrow, Franklin, and so on. And so we are the original partner museum of the Gilmore Car Museum. So the CCCA Museum, of course, is independently managed from the Gilmore. We manage our own collection, and so it's a very interesting arrangement.
Now, you mentioned brass era cars, but that's just a portion of the museum?
Well, yeah. So, one of the other partner museums is the Museum of the Horseless Carriage, and so all the partner museums have their own annual weekends. We just had our own annual weekend called The Experience. We had 9 Duesenberg show up from across the United States. We had a beautiful display of 40 full classics. Just an absolutely amazing show. The show was 2 days here on the campus of the Gilmore Car Museum, and then we had a 3-day driving tour immediately following the experience. And so each partner museum has their own annual event. And so just as a way of kind of showcasing the cars that each of our partner museums celebrate.
I assume that they trailer these cars, especially the brass era cars, to the museum and to these events.
Typically, yeah, but not all the time. For our experience, a lot of people drove in. Some people did transport, but yeah, there's a lot of transporters on the field this weekend.
and obviously, what a great vacation destination. You don't. For us down here in Texas, Michigan is not top of mind when it comes to a vacation destination. But I will tell you that I have spent some time in Detroit. Jeff is from the Detroit area, and I will tell you that the Henry Ford is a museum, and that would be a destination for anybody to go to, and I'm sure that yours is not that far from there. You could make it a summer vacation, a road trip, if you will, and do a week in Michigan easily.
You could do a week in Michigan, but even just beyond Michigan, and of course our museum being focused on the classic era, so 1915 to 1948, there are a large number of museums sort of within a 150-mile radius of Hickory Corners, Michigan. You mentioned the Henry Ford, and that's that's extremely accurate. Our museum, which displays nothing but full classics, the Auburn Ford Duesenberg Museum in Auburn, Indiana, which is an hour and a half away from us, Studebaker Museum in South Bend, which is even slightly closer than that. There's the REO Olds Museum in Lansing, the Wills St. Clair Museum in Marysville, the Stalls Museum. There's such a wonderful collection of full classics on display in a variety of different museums. Of course, our museum, we're about 45 cars that are strictly full classics. So we sort of look at all of these wonderful museums sort of situated within about 150 miles of us that are very, very easy to get to. And so if you are a fan of the classic era, there is a lot to see in this region.
So if I were going, I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, I was going to say, so are all these vehicles have private owners, or just consigned to the museums? And are any of these vehicles for sale?
No, none of the vehicles are for sale. And actually, our museum, we own we own all but 4 of the cars on display in here right now. We have a temporary exhibit called Power and Performance, which features a Bentley, an Auburn, and a Duesenberg, and all 3 of those cars are loaned to us right now. The only other car that's on loan to us is this beautiful Stutz behind me, 1930 supercharged Stutz. But past that, no, the museum owns all the other cars, and no, they're not for sale.
Yeah, you wish.
Good try.
Because I'm sure that you would probably have a few in your own collection.
Yes, I absolutely. But the best part for me is I get to come here every day and play with these cars, handle them, drive them. About 75% of the cars in the museum start, run, and drive, and we run them pretty regularly. Every Tuesday, we have a team of volunteer mechanics that come in and work with the collection, keep them running, keep them exercised. And so we've constantly got something out and about that we're driving.
I can only imagine that you would have a stash of tires somewhere, or at least access to tires, because my gosh, if they're sitting in the museum for decades on end, I would imagine that some of them can get kind of brittle at times.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there's obviously some cars in the collection are sort of, designated as kind of campus running only. Where they can go out and our campus here at the Gilmore, as I said, it's 90 acres, so we have a small oval test track where we can run the cars on. There's I think a couple miles of pavement. Just on the museum campus where we're able to run the cars and, keep them exercised, keep them running. But then we have other cars that I just got done with a 350-mile tour in a 1938 Lansfield-bodied custom Buick that went into northern Indiana for the 3-day driving tour. And the car handled beautifully, and so some of our cars are ready for tours like that as well.
It's funny you mentioned these tours. We down here in Texas don't have clearly the collection that you've got up there as far as museums are concerned. And all I could think of is, wow, what a great vacation. Fly into Detroit, do the Henry Ford, get your rent car, and do the tour up there to all the museums. Unless you, of course, are lucky enough to have a classic that you can take, 1,500 miles one way. Sure. Are hotel accommodations nearby, and are there campgrounds nearby?
Actually, the museum offers on-site camping with power, so it's not primitive. And so, there's a really nice camping area on the campus. There's lots of shade. I've camped there myself a couple times. It's a great spot to camp. But yes, in Kalamazoo, there are nice accommodations. And again, it's a 20-minute car ride to get from downtown Kalamazoo out to Gilmore. So it's really pretty, and it's pretty easy. And it's a nice drive because you drive around Gull Lake and, see the beautiful water and the lovely homes and everything else. So it's not a bad drive to get out here at all.
So Kalamazoo's not far from Battle Creek, so you can stop for breakfast at Battle Creek, all the Kellogg stuff.
I was just going to say, we could take a tour of the cereal factory.
There you go.
Get yourself some cornflakes.
You were talking about keeping the cars exercised. Is that like a position the person can apply for? Is just to exercise?
Yeah,
like horses?
We would like to be on the athletic staff. That we could, we could drive the car.
Check out our abs.
Yeah, exactly.
If you ever come up from Texas, give me a call. We'll get a car out and take it for a ride. That would be wonderful.
Oh, that would be great. Now, is there a fee to get into the museum?
Yes, admission into the Gilmore gets you access to all of the Gilmore buildings as well as all the partner museum buildings, and I believe it's $20 a person. And it is a full to see all of the cars and all of the buildings. It's a long, full day. With approaching 400 cars on display, there's a lot to do here. The Gilmore runs a program called Ride the Classics that we occasionally participate in as well. 5 6 days a week, the Gilmore's got cars out on the campus, old cars that people can jump in and ride for free. It's a beautiful historical campus. There's just a lot to see. There's a lot to do. So it's a full day.
I can only imagine the weather up there at this time of the year is tolerable. That's what we'd say from Texas,
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. So what? Yeah. So what? High temperature today? What? 80?
Yeah, we might hit 80. Yesterday it was probably in the high 70s, and there was a nice breeze blowing. It was a good, just a great day up here yesterday, and they're expecting the same today.
Yeah. And now is the museum open year round?
Our museum is open year-round. Last year was the first year that the Gilmore has been open year-round for a long time, but our museum typically used to close in November and reopen in April. But last year, for the first time, we stayed open year-round, which we will continue doing from now on.
Wow. Well, that's good, because I was going to say, people that their families have all grown up and moved away and that sort of thing. A lot of folks, especially as you get a little bit older, vacations, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all of that. Granted, the weather may be iffy at times, as being a Wisconsinite from way back when, I can tell you that. But I would imagine that you probably get some folks up there at Christmas time.
Oh, absolutely. The campus actually decorates for Christmas, and they actually do a driving light display that you can come and drive all around the campus, and they really do a wonderful drive through the lights kind of display called Winter Wonderland, which helps get people here in winter as well. And so, yeah, like I said, there's always something going on out here.
Is there generally snow there that time of year when you're doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? So I can see from down
starting
here.
around November.
Come on, Mars.
Well, I mean,
You've never even been up there. You don't even know what it's
that's
like.
the reason I'm asking. But I could see why you go up there. If I'm going that far, I want a little snow.
Yeah,
I
but
want to leave it and come back here. But I'd like to see
the
it.
only ice he's seen is in his glass.
That's right. Oh, my gosh. Well, John, it's great to talk to you. Classic Car Club of America Museum, the Gilmore, the whole collection up there. Central Michigan, is that what you would call it?
Southwestern
Michigan.
Southwest Michigan.
Southwest, okay. All right, well, it's great. Hopefully, one of these days, we'll be back up there and we'll get to talk to you. Anything new and exciting, feel free to give us a call. We'll have you back on and we'll talk about it.
That would be wonderful. Thanks so much for your time this morning, guys.
John, thank you.
Thank
we
you, John.
appreciate you. All right.
Very cool.
I'll say. Let's take a break, shall we? Hey, you can get the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. We also